On the table is the narrow casting. This is the special tree. And a lot of times when you saddle up, if you can throw it a little more forward, and then you just kind of slide that saddle down and it'll kind of find its pocket. Sometimes that really helps the horse wind up being comfortable and you getting it cinched up in the correct place. Usually I put mine on there and tighten my saddle up to a certain hole in my billet strap, walk my horse off, and then tighten it up. When I do that, that saddle's kind of had time to find its place. But if you're one who's saddling up and you're just going to gird them up and get on them, then just kind of be sure that you kind of find that pocket. But you see what a nice fit that is, and you can tell the way the bars are laying there that everything's in its place and everything's very comfortable. This is the medium fitting. This is the new Nueva tree. This is the tree that I've kind of designed to kind of help bridge the gap between the special and the wide. But once again, you just kind of put it on there and it'll just kind of find its place. And see, everything looks good, everything fits good. And so we have a fit. This is the wide casting. This is the wide tree that we've had, and when you really find its place on there, everything fits good, looks good. You know, it's comfortable. And we used the fitting shells because we wanted to let you see. Different people learn a little differently, and some are very visual learners. So I hope you've been able to see, but I'm coming right back with all three of the trees on the table. Well, with all three trees on the table, we know that the special was built for like a range of horses. Maybe this is the middle of that range, but it fits a range of narrow horses. The wide, it would fit a range of narrow horses, and so we've had these ranges and nothing really in the middle to be comparable to those types of backs. But now we have the Nueva, and see, really all three of these really kind of overlap each other. This will tend to fit some of the more end of that range that the special is. The Nueva will fit a range of some of those wider backs, so it's a range, and all these ranges pretty much overlap each other, which in the realm of having a lot of different horses to ride, or you know, going through horses. I mean, you know, to look for NFR horses, sometimes you can't go by the winner. You go through some horses to find out if a horse is really willing to run for you quite like that. It takes a very special individual, but then that means that you need saddles that will kind of fit ranges of backs, and unless the back is just totally unusual and way out of any realm of what normal backs are, we start at a very narrow and go to a very wide range of backs, and that ability for that horse to move up underneath the saddle, not to get his shoulder blade and not to really get his loin area either, but that becomes so important in today's marketplace, because bad saddle fit produces things in the face. That's where you'll perhaps pick up on it. He'll either run that head up in that tie down and put a lot of pressure and have a real tight neck where you can't deal with him at all, or the opposite of that is what they call inversion, and he just goes down to his chest with that head, trying to kind of lift that saddle up off its back and get off that pressure. And so where you'll notice it is in the bridle, and we just don't, I found that I didn't have a bit that could fix that. And so then I began to look in other places, and I found it was the saddle. And so we're winding up paying money in very small increments of time. And I've asked people all the time, I says, what's the difference between a $100,000 horse and a $200,000 horse? I mean, the papers, has he got a pretty head? Has he got a big rear end? I bought him from somebody famous. I mean, what is it? We don't ride any of those. That part doesn't clock. And so we get down to, well, the really thing that establishes value in horses is maybe I have a horse that can run a 17.000 on a WPRA pattern. That could be a $200,000 horse. You know why? Because when I go, if I can ride him, let me tell you, I'm capable of winning anywhere I go. If I have a horse that can only run a 17.500, you know what, I can place, but it's really going to have to be, I don't know if I can win against that top horse or not. So there's my value in another thousands of dollars is who cuts the clock off the fastest. And so when we get down to saddle fit, if you talk to chiropractors, they'll tell you we make a lot of money off people who have saddles that don't fit. And when those companies are just kicking out those saddles, boom, 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 and you've got a whole flooded market of a particular kind of saddle, let me tell you something. You need to stop and think, who's designing that? Where are they getting their design from? Is it going to give me the one thing that a saddle should give me? One thing, balance. Am I going to be balanced in it? Is my horse going to feel me balanced in it, or is he going to be worried about pressure points that saddle's creating? That's why saddle fit is such a huge issue with the barrel racers, because this starts creating value in horses. And even when we hauled our children, we weren't trying to make a living off our children in the barrel racing, but you know what? Their horses became more valuable, so that when we sold those horses, we had a valuable commodity, if you would, to sell, to put on to the next upgrade of horse. And so all of this is just, it's a time for us to become more educated in a sport that we're spending a lot of money on. So anyway, I hope this has been a part of your continuing education in the backs and saddle fit.